Over the next couple weeks, we are going to be working for Unique Global Imports. It's a manual simulation that will allow you to look at source documents, journalize, and post. Every week you will be given an assignment. There is a due date, and it is expected to be done by that date. After you submit it, and I get all of the assignments, I will correct them and get them back to you. You will not start the next portion until the following week. If you turn in your assignment late, it will start at 80% of the grade. Another thing I do want to warn you, although it is easy to do, please do not cheat. Do your work on your own. After grading accounting for 30 years, I can tell it's pretty obvious when a person cheats. You will also be having a final test that covers this, plus some knowledge that you should know by completing this simulation. Therefore, if you cheat, you're going to have a tough time on your final test. If you open up your folder, you'll see that you'll have a yellow sheet. Those are all your instructions, which we'll go through in a little bit. Then you have your chart of accounts. The chart of accounts, remember, those are the only accounts that you will use in your journals. Then you have a sheet that has your sales journal and your purchases journal, a general journal, a cash payments journal, a cash receipts journal. The next ones you should have are your ledgers. If you look at the one that is folded, you will see that right here it says that it's the accounts receivable ledger. Then you will have accounts payable ledger, and you will have your general ledger. Along with that, you will have the thick packet of papers. Those are your source documents. Once you've identified all of those, it's time to get started. Now go to your yellow sheets, which are your instruction sheets. These are what you are going to follow to work your way through this simulation in the next couple of weeks. Up at the top of the page, you will see the business setup is right here. It says Unique Global Imports is a merchandising business that sells a variety of international goods, including fabrics, clothing, furniture, and decorative accessories. Unique Global Imports is organized as a corporation. Anthony Dawson and Julie Medina are major stockholders and acting managers. The business sells merchandise for cash and also subscribes to a national credit card service. In addition, some sales are made on account to certain customers. Term 210, which means 2% if they pay within 10 days, or the net amount in 30 for sales on account to other businesses, and 30 days for consumers. In this simulation, you will do the work for Unique Global Imports. And again, just to stress, do not forget to use your ruler. Next, we're going to move on to the instructions. Next, you'll need to make sure that you have your journal pages out, your source document pages, and your instruction sheet. Right now, you do not need to have your general ledger or your accounts receivable or accounts payable ledger available. Looking on your instruction sheet, which is the yellow sheet, you will notice that it starts on December 1st. Each of your source documents are identified by a form number. So if you look up there, you will see that you have Form 1, Form 2, and there's basically 2 source documents on every page. That form matches up with the instruction, Form number 1. Okay, when you start with a document or a source document that you've never seen before, a lot of times the instructions are a little bit more detailed. Take a look at Form 1 also. This form is a copy of a sales invoice. In the city in which Unique Global Imports is located, a 9.25% sales tax is levied on all retail sales. Most of Unique Global's import sales are cash and credit card. However, a few individuals and companies are permitted to make purchases on account. Proceed as follow. And you will see here is some instructions for you to follow along. Journalize a transaction in the sales journal. Use 936 as a source document number to show that this sales invoice number 936. Note that the invoice shows the total amount of the sales tax, and the invoice total. and you will follow this procedure in journalizing all sales on account. Let's take a look at Form 1 of your source documents. Remember, you are Unique Global, so that's what you want to see first of all. You can see Unique Global is up here. That means that this is your document that you prepared. Your business logo is up there. Then you'll also see words right here. It says sold to, and then who you sold this to. You'll notice that there's no cash here, so therefore this is a sale on account. You see that your invoice number is over here. You will also notice that you have the total of your sales is here. Your sales tax is there. And the total amount that you should receive at a later date from Leon is right down there. Next, we're going to go into our journal and we're going to journalize this. Okay, next we're going to go into our sales journal. We'll write the date, December 1st, 2020. The account debited, you sold it to Leon. He is your customer, so we will write that. The accounts receivable debit is for the total amount owed, $22.92.72. The amount of the sales is your subtotal, $2,098.60. And your sales tax is listed there at $194.12. Your source document, it's sales invoice 936. Since it already says sale up there, all we have to do is put 936. Then going back to our instruction sheet, what you should probably do is put a check mark here, or you could also put a big X through that form to show that you are done with it. Okay, now we're going to go on to form number 2. And before we do this, we're going to take a look at what form number 2 looks like. If you scroll down to the bottom of the first page of your source documents, you will see Form 2. Okay, the first thing I told you before is you want to look for Unique Global on here someplace, because somehow it's connected to you as a business, or else you wouldn't have it. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to find Unique Global is right there. And you can see by what I've circled, it says it is sold to us as a business. So this form is an invoice received from a vendor. Your vendor is right up here, East Porcelain Importers. All incoming source documents are stamped with the date of receipt and usually a source document number. You can see it is right there. And it is noted on this particular one. The stamp of the invoice shows the date of December 1st and the number P842. And these are assigned by Unique Global Imports to identify the source document as purchase invoice number 842. If the date of the receipt is different from the date of the source document, the transaction should be journalized using the date the paper was actually received. So we are going to journalize it on the date that we received it, which is December 1st. The cost of the items and the invoice total down here are checked by an employee of Unique Global. And that's what these check marks are for, as they make sure that all the merchandise is there when we purchased it. We are going to journalize the purchase transaction in the purchase journal. We are going to go through and we're going to journalize that source document. Okay, the date is December 1st, 2020. Account credit to East Porcelain. Importers. And again, you should write the entire business name Unless you run out of room, you should not abbreviate. The amount of the purchase is at the bottom, $2,854. And the purchase number, you use the number that is stamped on there, 842. And the reason why you do that is because you are going to get purchase invoices from a lot of vendors. And therefore, they're going to have their own numbering system. So as you receive them, you stamp them with the date and the purchase number. So it keeps them in line. Going back to your instruction sheet, we can now put a check mark by Form 2. We are done with that one. And everything that is listed here, I basically read to you when we were doing the transaction. Let's take a look at Form 3. Form 3 is right here. We'll jump to Form 3 and we will see it looks like this. Form 3 is a statement for December's rent. Julia, one of the owners, has approved this statement as shown by her notation on the left side of the form. So you can see right here, it is stamped when we received this, and Julia has told you to issue a check, and check 902. I do not make you write out the checks, but we are paying cash for rent. The amount that we are paying, $1,000. And normally what you do is you would cut this apart on the line here and you would return this with the check. Since we are paying cash, we need to go to our cash payments journal. Here's our cash payments journal. We are going to record our payment of rent. The date, December 1, 2020, is for rent expense. Debit of $1,000, general debit, because there's no special amount column for it, and credit cash. And it's check number 902. We are done with that transaction and that source document. So we will go back to our instruction sheet and we will place a check mark by Form 3. As you continue on with your instruction sheet, you will notice that anytime you start with a new form, they will give you instructions, detailed instructions. So if you look at the top of page 2 of your instruction sheet, Forms 4 and 5 do not have any instructions by them. That means we've already covered that information. You will work through your instruction sheet. Remember, you can use your book as a source if you need to look something up. Some of the things you might forget, most of it, hopefully you remember it. Make sure you do all of the instructions. If you look at the bottom of page 2, it says, note you don't have anything in Form 15. You need to post items that need to be posted individually. Make sure you're posting when it tells you to do it and in the order. Do not wait till the end to do your posting. Then you will continue on and eventually you'll get to the bottom of page 4. If you look there, it says stop here. The due date is going to be April 30th, which is Thursday. It says do not go any further until I correct this submission. So at the end of the week, you will submit your information, I will correct it, and when the new week starts, what you need to do is look at my corrections. You will make those corrections on your sheet, so when you start the new week, everything should be correct. And remember, the due dates are solid now. Things must be turned in by that date to get full credit.